Deltarune is the second official game to take place in the Undertale universe. It is not considered a sequel though, and is said by Toby Fox. It's just a game you can play after you complete Undertale, if you want to. Now so far, Deltarune Chapter 1 has been released, but that was over 2.5 years ago. By now, a lot more information has come out about the future chapters of Deltarune. But before I go into the details, if you end up enjoying this video, feel free to leave a like or subscribe for more content, because at this rate we'll have more subscribers than Dave Gaming 1453 in no time. Anyway, back to the video. Deltarune Chapter 1 leaves many secrets and cliffhangers that will hopefully be revealed in later chapters of the game. But because there is no set release date for Chapter 2 or any of the other chapters, we can only wait for more information on that. But we do have a decent amount of information on the development of these chapters. So far, development on Chapter 2 seems to be going very well. Toby Fox has even hired a small team of people to assist with the development of Deltarune. Toby Fox has stated that the development of Chapter 2 is progressing much faster than Chapter 1, and some people have speculated that Chapter 2 may be complete by the end of the year. From Toby Fox's official Twitter, it seems like a working beta of the game has been complete since April of this year, and he feels very positive about the development of the game. Back in September of 2020, for Undertale's 5th anniversary, Toby Fox made a Deltarune status update on the Undertale webpage. This is a bit outdated now, but I will still read it off as it has some important information about Deltarune. The game will be released in many chapters, the first of which I released 2 years ago on Halloween. Since that time, I've been working hard to figure out the rest of the game. However, it's a game that's much harder to make than Undertale. Graphics are more complicated and several times more involved, systems are more complicated, exposes the weak points of my creative and artistic ability, plot is much harder to tie together, more characters, more important locations, significantly more content than Undertale in one playthrough, especially cutscenes. I have only made one game ever. Unlike Undertale, this is the type of game that would normally have many designers working on each aspect of the game. A story writer, a composer, an audio director, a map designer, a battle designer, a minigame designer, and an overall director. Instead, all of these roles end up handled by me. The good news is that a few months ago, I completed a significant milestone regarding the game's design. I completed readable outlines for every chapter in the game, including first-pass dialogue for almost all the cutscenes, examples of the music, etc. Although certain details are still hazy, the flow of the game and all major events and battles that take place are now clear. In summary, I largely spent the past 2 years writing, composing, designing, and drawing. However, that's not the whole story. We had actually attempted to develop the game since that time too. Development started around March 2019, and 99% of the work was spent on investigating engines alternate to GameMaker, which I used for Chapter 1. Without getting into the details, I decided a few months ago to go back to GameMaker after all. It still felt like the best fit for the project. So using Chapter 1 as a base, we've started creating Chapter 2 since May 2020. A lot of progress has been made since that time. I believe we can complete this chapter, content-wise, before the end of the year, not accounting for translation, bug testing, and porting. I feel very confident, and the strange thing is, even though we ended up using the original engine, I don't regret the lost time either. Not only was I still busy designing the game, but during that long period, I was able to think of many ideas that make the game's story and characters better. I'm glad that I'm making the Deltarune that I have now, and that we are making healthy progress. Deltarune Status Estimate. Since there's a lot to read, I'll try to put the status of the game in numbered estimates. Chapter 2, Phase 1, Design. Main design, 100% complete. Dialogue, etc. Initial setup, 100% complete. Stuff involves setting up people to make the game, adding debug tools, documentation, etc. Art, 90%. Cutscenes, 80%. 90% are started, need second pass. Bullet patterns, 70%. Enemies are mostly complete, bosses are about 40% done, need second pass. Non-bullet battle enemies, 30%. Some acts are done and enemies are fightable, but interactive acts need to be completed and polished, and the bosses aren't programmed outside of bullet patterns. Audio, 80%. Maps, unknown percent. Most are started or placeholder, most need second pass. NPC interactions are completed in all spots where written. Other, 65%. Phase 3, Finishing. balancing 0%, bug fixing 0%, translation 0%, porting 0%. Honestly, a lot of stuff feels like 80% to me, but the truth is that what's there is quite rough now. Polish ends up taking a lot of time, so the real actual time value may be around 50% done. We'll see what happens. It'll be a lesson for everybody. Progress in chapters 3 and beyond. Phase 1, Design. Story and general game progression. First pass, 100%. Cutscene dialogue. First pass, lacking cutscene instructions, 95%. Map design, textual, 70%. Varies per chapter. Earlier chapters totally completed. Map design, drawn, 0%. This takes a lot of wrist energy, so I don't do it until we start programming. Enemy design, conceptual, 90%. All bosses are known. Enemy design, bullet/visual, 80%. Varies per chapter. Earlier chapters totally completed. Music, concept, 95%. Music, completed, 50%. Visual design, background concept, first pass, 75%. Important character, bosses, first pass, 100%. Phase 2, sprite art, 20%. Other content creation, 0%. Phase 3, release readiness, 0%. These numbers can be somewhat deceptive though. My true design style is to reach the moment where we have to make something, and then suddenly think of something different at the last minute. This is always how it's been with me in my work. It feels like no matter how much I plan, everything comes down to what I think of it at the last second. Team and disability. You may have noticed from my phrasing, but yes, there is a team helping me create the game. Other than me, there are about 3 active team members working day to day, with a few other people pitching in from time to time. The roles of the main members are overall content implementation and organization, bullet pattern implementation, part-time, and art, Temi. Other than designing, I still have the role of system programmer. I'm extremely grateful to have a team helping me carry out my design, especially because of my disabilities, which have also made development more difficult. Although I have long suffered from wrist and hand pain, about 5 months ago my wrist was the worst it's ever been. I could not play the piano, use the mouse, and barely could use the keyboard. I navigated everything through voice to text. Through weightlifting, exercise, and various equipment, I have been able to somewhat increase the stamina of my wrist to an extent. Various solutions have included trackball mice for each hand, using voice to text whenever possible, using a foot pedal to click the mouse, etc. Now I can use the mouse and keyboard for a certain amount each day, provided I take frequent breaks. I wish I could work without stopping. Once the world situation improves, I would really like to take physical therapy again and/or investigate surgery to repair my wrist. Future plans. Once we finish Chapter 2, I would like to use it as the base to create future chapters from. After gaining experience from this chapter, I think making future chapters will be easier. Part of me wonders if we could make the game faster if we increased the size of the team and did something insane like create multiple chapters in parallel. However, another part of me understands that adding more people doesn't guarantee that the game will be created faster if it's not done properly. I'm already just barely avoiding becoming a bottleneck on the development even with a team of this size due to my physical limitations. To that end, I am interested in making a list of people that could potentially help me make the game. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to ask anyone to help, but I think if I could just find one person that works well with me, it's worth asking. Chapter 2 is proceeding at a good pace, so if we do take anyone on, it will probably only be for Chapter 3 onward. So please understand that anything you send in may not have an immediate result. This status update has also given us some images of the future chapters. This image shows a new battle scene with some future unseen enemies, and Chris, Susie, and Ralsei seem to be wearing some sort of nurse outfits. In this image, we can see Chris standing in a road of the new city area with some small red cars driving by. This one seems to show Lancer as an inventory item with the caption saying, "Ho ho ho, I'm a tough boy, treat me like one of your items." And this last one shows a battle scene with the same enemies from before, except that their hands have seemed to turn into arrows from the peace signs that they were in the first image. On Toby Fox's official Twitter page, he has also released 3 songs for the future Deltarune chapters, including Noelle's theme, a different version of Noelle's theme, and one that seems to be the city theme. These may not be the final versions of the song used in-game, but they sound very polished so far. If you want to hear the full songs, then I will leave a link to them in the description. From the status update, we can see that there are at least 4 chapters to be found in Deltarune, although many people suspect that there will be at least 5 or 6. These new chapters will hopefully introduce new music, gameplay, and lore for Deltarune. We can hope to get some needed answers too, like what the heck is inside of this thing. If you are planning to play these chapters when they release though, make sure you have some money ready, as Toby Fox has stated that these chapters will not be free, unlike Chapter 1. I am very excited for the future of Deltarune, and I hope you are too. I'll be making sure that any new information is posted as soon as it comes out, so subscribe to stay updated. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day.